Welcome back to Artibus. Boy, do we have a long, humongous list of changes for you today, so we're going to get straight into things right now. So first of all, there is a very tiny chance that any sheep that spawns in your world will be any color. Usually in vanilla Minecraft, 6 different colors of sheep can spawn. You have the most common, which is white. You have black, gray, and light gray, and then also brown, which apparently is slightly more rare than the previous 3, and then pink finally, which is less than a 1% chance of spawning. Very cool stuff. Obviously, it's kind of a cool achievement in Minecraft when you find a pink sheep. It's like, oh my god, a pink sheep. That doesn't happen. That's cool. So now you can find every color of sheep, and it's about the same chance that it takes for a pink sheep to spawn. This used to use a loot table, which used to spawn barrier block items in your world, count how many of them there were, store the value of how many of them there were in a scoreboard, and then basically change the sheep based on that value. Now it uses a new feature called Predicate, which was added in 1.16, and that basically allows you to run a random it allows you to run a randomizer, which basically can be used to do things. So, for example, the way this works right now is that every time a sheep spawns in, this predicate will basically do a random chance of 0.00164, which equates to 0.164%. And if it's successful, it will change a boolean to 1, and then we can run a random color picker from 1 to 10 to pick which color of sheep it's going to be. So every time a new sheep spawns in, there will be a 1 in 10 chance that it will be any of these beautiful 10 colors. Doesn't make any sense, but I kind of like the idea that someone maybe dyed it in the past. I guess that kind of makes sense. So yeah, pink sheep is a thing that can happen in real life, apparently. That's where the reference comes from. But obviously these colors of sheep are way too absurd for real life, but I do just love the idea of finding like a purple sheep for no reason. I think that's pretty cool. We've also brought back the randomized tools for wither skeletons and skeletons. So wither skeletons now have a 25% chance of spawning in with a bow, and if you kill the wither skeleton and get his bow, it will be enchanted with flame. This was something that I was hesitant about doing last time when we did SMC, but I have now decided that I do actually quite like it. Initially, with the thing with the bows, I kind of figured that people would say, why does the wither skeleton have a flame bow? It's trivia that wither skeletons always shoot flame arrows when they have a bow. Well, that's kind of not my logic. What I'm going off of now is just that the wither skeletons always have an enchanted flame bow, and therefore if you get the bow off them, you get that perk of having a flame bow, which I think is really helpful. And the same goes for skeletons. There's a 10% chance of a skeleton spawning in with a stone sword. And to balance things out as well, I've also changed the loot table of both of these entities. Wither skeleton archers will now drop arrows when they have a bow, but not when they have a sword, and skeletons will drop arrows, but only when they have a bow, not when they have a sword. And I've also changed the number of arrows they do drop, because usually in vanilla they drop 0 to 2 arrows. I've changed it so that they drop 1 to 2 arrows now if they are a bowman. So yeah, you'll be able to get a little bit more arrows from your skeletons on average. I love that depth effect on his eyes. I think it looks really cool. I was really proud of that. It doesn't really work properly with the skeletons, but that's because they're too dark. They're way too dark. But yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, I've also improved the detection for the armor stand system. So what this did initially was it actually checked whether or not you were sneaking, and it used a statistic called sneak time. And if you'd been sneaking for more than 1 tick, it would basically know and then not apply the arms instead. Predicates are awesome. I've been looking into how they work a little bit today, obviously to do the predicate random chance for these bad boys over here. And you can actually predicate basically anything. Like you can predicate to check whether or not a player is sprinting or sneaking. You can also predicate the weather, you can predicate dimension, you can predicate specific MBT properties, you can predicate random chance, is what we've done here. You can predicate a lot of things. It's basically like everything that I was doing before, but more efficient and more proper. So I've been trying to go back through the pack and convert some things that are a little bit out of date now. So basically the armor stand system now no longer uses the sneak time statistic, but uses predicate player sneaking. So again, it works the same way. If you're not sneaking, your armor stand will have arms. If you are sneaking, your armor stand will not have arms like that. And for those of you that don't understand, the reason why I like to have this is because some people do use armor stands in builds. I think there was one where it was like a graveyard and they had an armor stand in a piece of stone. It looked like a cross on top. But obviously, if you had the arms on the side of the armor stand, it looks kind of dumb. So for the people that do like to use armor stands in builds and don't want the arms, you have the option to crouch and you will no longer have arms on your armor stand. Best case scenario, this is what I would love to do. I would love to have it so that if you just put a stick on an armor stand, it would just grow an arm for 1 stick, 2 stick. But unfortunately, that's impossible, as far as I know, without modding capabilities anyway. Moving on to some fixes from last time and some other changes that I was quite proud of as well. So last time we actually saw that Prismarine could be crafted like so. There it is. So you would take 4 Prismarine shards and you would get 4 Prismarine. This was a remnant of an old module of SGT where I said that you could get more fair crafting recipes. So for example, 4 quartz would make 4 quartz blocks, 4 bricks would make 4 brick blocks, and that was with the idea that it shouldn't be expensive to craft these blocks that don't really give you any sort of strategic advantage. I have removed that now because I feel like that was a little bit unnecessary. So basically the Prismarine shard recipe has been reverted back to only craft 1 Prismarine, which basically means that it is the same as vanilla now. We also have fixed the Stonecutter issue. I didn't even realize this last time, but for some reason the recipe where you craft oak logs to stripped oak logs was missing. The weird thing was with this as well, if I go to oak wood as it's called, I hate that this is called log and wood. I feel like there's a better way of naming these. So in the previous update, you could actually still craft this one, the stripped oak wood, but you couldn't craft the stripped oak log, and it was because it was using a custom tag which wasn't set up correctly in Artibus. It was using the custom namesake from SGT as opposed to the Artibus namesake from this one. So now that should be working much better. So if you were the kind of person who wants to craft oak logs into stripped oak logs or oak wood into stripped oak logs, then you can now once again do that. So the Stonecutter is working a little bit nicer. I've also re-added the 8 sticks crafting recipe. There was a thing last time, if I get myself some planks right here. Usually, so planks craft 6 sticks. This is obviously overpowered because usually in vanilla, well, it's not overpowered, but let me just do some explaining. So I'm going to get myself some sticks. There we go. I'm doing this on the fly now. Very professional as always. Thank you. So basically, you would usually get, 2 oak planks would get you 1, 2, 3, 4 sticks, right? And now, obviously, the way this works is we can get 1 oak planks and get 6 sticks. So we're essentially getting more than double what we should be getting for this. But the way that this basically works is that now, when you're using Artibus and when you were using SGT beforehand, you would actually get 8 sticks from crafting 2 oak planks. And as you know, if you craft oak logs in a Stonecutter, you actually get 6 planks instead. So with that same logic, you get 6 sticks from 1 plank. It's just 50% more efficient to use a Stonecutter for certain operations. And this works perfectly for the oak stairs. No, it does. Oh, yeah, hang on, I'm thinking the wrong thing. Let me just get an oak log. It will be helpful, trust me. There we go. So yeah, if I get an oak log, this would usually craft 6 oak planks, which could then be crafted into 8 oak stairs. So the math works out really nice here. You can also craft 12 oak slabs, 24 sticks, and obviously 1 of the stripped logs as well. So yeah, for those of you that don't know, this is one of my favorite features in SGT. I love the idea of using a Stonecutter to make wood crafting more efficient, because obviously early game you do have to craft wood in your inventory, but once you've got a bit of stone and a bit of iron, you will be able to craft a lot more wood using a Stonecutter. And I think that it gives an added use to the Stonecutter. I love the idea of having a huge variety of workstations that are all equally as helpful, and that kind of like adds to that idea in my opinion. So anyway, moving on from that, in SMC in the past, I actually had an idea to add mushrooms to the mushroom loot table. I did do it. I just made it so that the mushroom would occasionally drop red mushrooms. Only problem was, when the brown mushroom died, it would also drop red mushrooms. Now this was in the early days before Big Brain Me knew that you could just predicate tags within a loot table. So nowadays, if you kill a brown mushroom, it will drop brown mushrooms, and if you kill a red mushroom, it will drop red mushrooms, and it's 1 to 3. So with the logic that there are 3 mushrooms on these cows, you get 1 to 3 mushrooms for every time they die. And I was quite pleased with that because, again, I didn't realize that you could just predicate MBT, but I figured that out one time when I did the charred bone thing that we did in SMC in version 2 point something. I forget. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to just roll with that. That worked out perfectly, didn't it? Thanks for watching. Yeah. Bye.